On this episode of the Bozo Podcast, the boys have been gaming. Nathan explores the world of music, and Dan gets miniaturized. Welcome to the Bozo Show.
Welcome back to the Bozo Show podcast. We are on a couch instead of our set.
One would call it a casting couch.
No, we're not casting anybody. We are the cast. We're casting
ourselves. We're broadcasting.
In the role. We are broadcasting, sure, to the masses on YouTube.
Let's explain the setup that we have right now.
Yeah, so this is what we do. This is how we sit. This is just basically a hard plug for Bozo Gaming, our second channel.
This is the Bozo Gaming
Or Mega Game Crushers, our third channel.
Or Mega Game Crushers, yep. I had a speech impediment moment.
Basically, we have these Let's Play channels where we play video game and then just hang out and talk.
That's right.
There's a giant Minecraft or a Valorant knife.
So the other thing that we have, usually we have a game up.
Holy shit.
And instead of putting a timer like we normally do, we just put an hour-long meme compilation on.
Yeah, which I fear is going to be very distracting, but also add a lot of stuff for us to talk about.
If we ever need to make commentary, we could talk about World of Tanks. This video is 100 gigabytes.
Just comments. Oh, it's talking about overweight women. That was toxic. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, basically, when we play Bozo Gaming videos like Chrono Trigger, Pikmin, or Spyro, which are the 3 playthroughs we're doing right now across the 2 channels. If you want to see that, go to Bozo Gaming or Mega Game Crushers.
Yep.
We sit. Don't look at that.
Ignore the Nazi cat.
Ignore the cat.
Ignore
the cat
Nazi
Hitler.
cat.
We sit here on these couches, usually me on the right here next to the wall. And with this
almost
mic,
exclusively. I don't think we've ever do it the other way.
No, I like the corner.
I don't know how we established this, but it is established.
I just have my pillow here that I rest up against.
There was never a conversation.
That's nice. No,
but
this is how
fine.
we sit.
I'm left-handed. I'm on the left.
And I think for every Bozo Gaming recording or like Bozo Show like gaming video that we've recorded, I've always sat on the right. That is a fake Cybertruck. I don't know if you're seeing that.
Yeah, no, I am seeing that. You should not always talk about the things.
Sorry, it's just distracting.
Maybe we should change that.
Nah, that's fine. That's fine. So yeah, go subscribe to Bozo Gaming and Mega Game Crushers. But yeah, this is how we will be. For Chrono Trigger, I'm playing. For Pikmin, he's playing.
Yep.
And for Spyro, we switch off
every level.
For
the most part. I mean, there's probably times where we're just like, I think there's one time
there's a couple times where I played like
the hub world was just a dick and a half to get through.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, all right, I've been playing this for like 6 minutes.
You die in the hub world 6 times here. You do the next level again. Also, all the flight levels I've been doing too.
Yeah, because I just don't want to play the flight levels. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So we've been kind of gaming heavily, literally. I mean, actually, we didn't record Bozo Gaming for like a month. So
no, we didn't record for a month.
We were playing a lot of Spyro.
But we're still gaming.
I've been gaming a lot, dude.
And you know what? In like in years from now, when time passes and we have a backlog, all people are gonna see is, damn, these guys have been gay men,
dude. We're all gay men. And
we're all gay men.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think on top of the 3 playthroughs, I've also been getting a little bit back into Valorant because I had a Valorant tournament in January.
Sheesh.
I think we went 1 and 2 and went out in the Swiss
in the Alps.
Yeah, in the Swiss Alps. No, it's like a type of bracket. It's like the Swiss bracket. It was fun though, whatever. But that kind of like sparked a little bit because I was like, every time I played, I was kind of ass. But that tournament, I kind of like tried to prepare for it and play a lot, like the week before. So I kind of got back up to speed, and now I'm kind of like just like a really crappy, probably a Diamond Ascendant Elo player.
Ah, I see. Very crappy Diamond player.
Like I'll make bad decisions, but my aim still like snaps to heads sometimes. So I'll be playing with like a duo or a 5-stack, and it's like I play okay. I get like pretty much 15, 20 kills a game.
I think for shooter games and like games in general, I am a high brain player, bad skill player. I'm like, oh, I caught the enemy off guard. I'm out here flanking. I'm out here doing routes, and everyone's like, what the fuck? Where'd this guy come from? Normally, if you're good at the game, that's all you need, because then you tap head, and then they dead.
Yeah.
But then I whiff a shot, and then they turn around and they go, oh, bang.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh fuck.
I usually also play like a lurk, like I play Cypher or something.
Yeah.
And then be a tricky like mid lurk, cut up rotates. But it's like, I find that when I'm entering onto site with my team, I will like just naturally, because I'm focusing on where I'm going, less so my aim, I'll just flick on heads. And then when I have the flank and the rotate, then I'm a little bit less shaky. But I don't know. I've been like pretty much middle fragging every game and like climbing elo a little bit. So I'm back to like plat 2 because the fucking game dropped me after not playing for like 4 episodes or whatever, 4 acts.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's longer. Whichever one's the one that has like
The diamond pyramid, or like where it's made of your trophies?
no, like it's like the whole episode that has 3 acts under it, right? The larger subcategory.
Yeah.
I didn't play for like 3 of those basically.
Oh, okay.
So every time, but I played my placements pretty much every time. So I just kept being placed lower and lower and lower and lower because I was like Ascendant 2, but then I got dropped all the way down to Gold 3. I think I placed this season.
You fell off.
Which is brutal. But now I'm back to like high Plat 1 and climbing. But I've only been playing like once or twice a week since the tournament. So, but it's been fun. You know, it has been miserable recently. But on top of that, I've also started a playthrough of Grounded.
Oh, you've been wanting to talk about this. It's the ant game.
Yeah.
We should talk about that ant game.
It's a game that I think it was just originally indie developed, and then Microsoft picked it up.
Yeah, it started
and
as an
pumped a
indie
bunch
game.
of money into it and made it their poster boy for our Xbox Game Pass and shit like that.
Yep.
But it's actually good. Like, whenever it's picked up by like Microsoft or whatever, I get skeptical. You know?
Yeah, as you should.
EA, Microsoft, they tend to fucking post some janky ass
it's in your
games,
ass.
and it's got some jank to it. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's in this. It's that like charming jank where like an enemy will glitch out and it'll be like funny. It's not. It hasn't really been like.
It doesn't affect the gameplay negatively.
Yeah, it hasn't really been like I die or like there's a lot of like there's a ton of like quality of life stuff and UI stuff that's like can be confusing at first, but then once you kind of like realize what it's for and what you kind of get used to it. Like we only figured out the other day like what the symbols on each weapon mean because it pertains to like the damage typing it does, like slash or stab or like blunt damage.
Makes sense.
We only figured that out. We've been playing for 30 hours. We only figured that out like last session.
For those who don't understand, like they can't picture the game in your head. Imagine Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but they got shrunk in the front lawn.
Or the backyard.
The backyard.
Yeah.
They got shrunk and they're in the grass.
So it's a survival game similar to like Raft, I guess. That's like the closest comparison.
It looks and feels like Raft.
Yeah,
in the
it's the
gameplay
same
and
like
stuff.
sort of like cartoony graphics, but you are a kid that was shrunken down and put in the backyard, and you're fighting ants with like fucking like twig swords and shit like that.
Yep.
And you just basically like it's like a survival game. You build a house, you craft items, you get better things. You go and kill harder enemies to get better loot and craft better items so that you can progress into the next thing. But the game has like a really captivating story to it.
Interesting. I didn't expect that. I haven't played the game.
So instead of it just being like survival game, build a house like Minecraft, very raw.
Yeah.
And the story's very like, you know, loose. You just go fight the Ender Dragon or whatever. This one's like, okay, so the guy who invented the shrink ray or whatever has set up these labs in his backyard because he was testing this. He basically quit.
Tested on himself.
He quit some evil corporation.
Yeah.
And started making it himself. And then the evil corporation's like trying to spy on him and steal his shit for themselves. And the scientist has built like there's a lab in like a hedge, and it's for like investigating spiders who live in the hedge and like, you know, their web shit. Then there's a lab that's underwater in the pond in his backyard, and he's like growing Brussels sprouts down there.
Yeah.
That are like
so he just
genetically
made like a
enhanced.
bunch of tiny labs so he can avoid them finding his shit.
Yeah, and just exploring the world of bugs and
Hidden
like
in
stuff in the
plain sight.
backyard. And then like as the story's progressing, it's very clear that like this guy was struggling to figure out how to make himself big again.
Oh, I see. Oh, he shrunk himself.
He's stuck like
How
that.
was he able to build all that lab, or was he able to go back and forth originally? And
I
then
think he
just-
probably set himself up with a lot of materials or something before
Oh,
he
and
shrunk
then he was
himself.
like, "All right, final mission."
Or
Shrank.
he tried to like build it all before he shrank himself. Yeah. But shit started to go wrong. It's as we're progressing, it's like the Eel Corporation started meddling with his shit, and like the labs are like destroyed or overrun with bugs and stuff now. But you have to like fight through that and then collect all these like data points and like cassette tapes where he tells the story as you progress through the labs and stuff. And right now we're at the point where the way the backyard works, it's like you start in the dead center of it, and it's basically like a lawn with a pond and a big tree.
Yep.
And all the first 4 labs, which I'm not going to, I'm not even spoiled on the ending or
You're
anything,
just talking
but
about the general concept.
the general
of the game.
beginning of the game, just you have to hit these 4 labs. It's revealed to you very early. But then as you do that, then you start to go into like the sandbox, which has like, it's like it gets really hot in there, so you need to have heat resistant armor because the sun is like too strong.
Yeah.
And there's more dangerous enemies. You go through like a trash pile that has like a black ant
So you have
nest
to do
and
like
stuff.
the toxic mask or something or what?
Oh, there's a what is it, like a pesticide canister that's leaking, and it infects all the like bugs and stuff in the area, and you have to wear a gas mask.
They got rads.
You eventually go to like a picnic table that has a lot of bees lurking around, and like
Fucking hate bees.
then at the point where we're at right now is there's a back ledge to the garden that's like raised, like you know those like stone retainer walls or whatever. There's one of those. You can't get up it until like late in the game when you have better items to open up the path, and all the bugs on the back ridge are harder, and there's like a shed with a bunch of shit and a bunch of like random yard stuff, there's like a whole termite nest and a pile of logs that's like, you know, the termites have gotten to.
That's what they go for.
So it's just like we're getting crazier and crazier weapons, and just it's like we put maybe 30-40 hours in, and we still have like none of the tier 3 items and stuff, which is I think the highest, and we fought none of the bosses because there's optional bosses all over the place that we're gonna do.
I guess
and we're not even close to ending the story apparently. Like there's just a lot more. I guess
that's why it's the poster boy for Xbox Game Pass, because then it's like, oh, everyone has Game Pass if you're playing online, and so it's like, I'll hop with the boys.
Yeah, and it's up to 4 players. Game. Yeah, so it's like a super awesome survival game. I really recommend it. It's giving me, it's scratching the same itch that Raft scratched.
It's giving Raft.
Raft is really good, especially for content, because everyone's stuck on a boat together. So you're forced to interact and like combine your resources. Like no one's making their own house and like having their own shit, right? Or like in Minecraft, no one's spreading out and making their own civilizations, and then like, you know, people are disconnected. You're all using this one raft for transportation, and you're stuck on it together. So it just makes like the content so good because everyone has to fucking joke around with each other and interact with each other. It just makes for a really good experience. Because like the raft video I made, which is when I was making like streamer highlight videos, not like video essays, was very funny because it was just me and all my viewers like fucking bumping heads, you know, trying to make shit on the raft and stuff like that. Whereas Grounded's a little bit more spread out. I mean, we have the same house, but me and the person I'm playing with can just like split off and go do 2 different things. Yeah. But we've tried to like usually go fight things together because it makes it so much easier to attack enemies and stuff. And just explore together and because you can revive each other. Yeah.
It's like Call of Duty moments where you're just like, res me.
Yeah.
Like we're playing zombies.
The game gets super like extensive with the upgrade systems and stuff. Like you could have mutations that do different things. Like I have one that like really helps me with perfect parries, which basically just negates damage and like stuns the enemy a little bit. I have one that's like my max health. I have one that's like my stamina increase.
So like every person could have their own specialty.
Yeah, their own kit. So the one I'm using right now is faster revives because
everyone's fucking dying around.
The person I'm playing with is getting owned by level 3 bugs and stuff. So I go in there, I fucking stick the res. It takes like maybe a second now instead of like the 5 to 10 it was taking before. And I get out and then we can continue the fight. So it's just been like super awesome to use that. But yeah, I 10 out of 10 recommend. Really fun game to play. Like you could probably play it alone. I'll say it, the bosses and the they bug, like the tier 3 bugs are really fucking hard to fight by yourself. I think you probably have to over gear yourself if you're going to play alone.
That makes sense.
But even playing with 2 people is very manageable and very awesome. So I recommend.
Game I've been getting back into, Melee.
Yeah, you on sticks, bro.
I don't know if you can see this. Oh, I have a tiny callus on my thumb,
brother.
Yeah.
Same shit. I don't know if you can see that. It gets really red when I play Rocket League because the boost button is like right in between the crease of my knuckle on the like, you know, inside of my thumb. Yeah. And there's like, feel that right there.
What am I feeling? Oh, that I can literally feel that.
That is the B button that is like calloused itself into my thumb.
I got a brand new.
That's fucked up.
I got a brand new controller for the GameCube, so I think also like the rubber, because how the sticks are, they have the triangles.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen a GameCube stick, unlike most sticks where it's like a groove, like it's a concave.
Concave, yeah.
GameCube controllers are the opposite, and then they have triangles the entire way around in circles, like it's a triangle shape that kind of just fucking digs into your hand to give grip. And so because of when you're playing Melee, there's a lot of like fast jumping and moving and like flicking your stick. And shit. And so because of the rubbing on the brand new like plastic, the triangle pieces, it literally the first time I played just tore a fucking hole in my thumb. And I'm just like, that's torn. And then I played it a second time and I'm like, slightly less torn. And now there's just like, I'm assuming the more I play, there's just going to be a visible callus. And I think it's because of the controller. Because before I never had that when I played, but it's probably because my controller's worn down over time.
Yeah, I mean, the GameCube controllers get deteriorated really fast.
Yep, a lot of the games require you to fucking move that shit like
literally.
crazy.
Plus, it's not the most it's the most well-designed controller in terms of hand feel, it feels like.
Yeah.
But in terms of hardware, the shit's kind of cheap.
Yeah.
And it's like the Switch joysticks where they kind of just, there's drift immediately. Like the game controller wasn't made that well either. Like the sticks get drift. The buttons get like depressed where like they're not like clicky anymore. They kind of like have a really flat press. The triggers get weak. The Z button especially is like, I feel most GameCube controllers, if they've been used heavily, have a fucking shitty Z button. It's not clicky at all. But
yeah, it gets stuck really easy and loses that.
That's where like the modding community comes in and saves the day though, because they custom make their own parts and stuff and like really make some high quality shit.
I remember when I was playing, I've only played in one Melee tournament and it was online. And on the very last set, because I got second place. On the very last set, the stick, like the left stick you use, just fucking stuck and just hugged to the left. And I picked it up and I showed the camera and it fully inputting to the left. And I'm just like, well,
yeah,
that's broken.
Very much broke the entire analog stick.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, well, this is bricked now. And I had to throw away that GameCube controller. Otherwise, it was my best GameCube controller, no issues. And then the stick just randomly fucking was like, yeah, I'm fucked now.
I was also in that tournament and got fourth, and I lost to the guy who won it.
Yep.
And then in
Gary,
losers, I played a Falco. He grabbed. Oh my god.
Grabbing
Logic
Gary,
Defender.
Like
I love Logic Defender. His Marth is fucking lame, bro. It's lame as fuck. I almost won too. It was game 5, like nail biter, and I fucking lost. But
dude, I've been moving recently for fucking.
Yeah, you probably
Melee
whoop my
too.
ass now.
Only thing that I'll say, which it just makes me want to play in person, is goddamn, some people have laggy ass internet unranked, and I'll be playing it and I'm just like, if there is a moment where there's more than like, if the screen visibly pauses with that much lag, it's not a fair game. Like, because of how fast you need to do inputs and stuff, or every once in a while they'll do a thing where it's like rubber banding, so like I'll do an input and it'll show it happening and then it'll be like, oh wait, no, you got hit, and I'm like, no,
dude, it did.
Let me play in real life.
Slippy really helped switch things to online, but it still is extremely regional because it's like, isn't it like a peer-to-peer connection or something?
It is. So if there's no one in your area, because that's the thing, like if you play Slippy online, you will notice when you're playing in off hours, like, oh, there are 2 guys that it is going to connect to, and it will refuse to connect to anyone else because they're too far. And sometimes it's just like, well, you'll beat someone, they'll fucking rage, they'll quit. 2 games later, they're back, and you can either. I think the funniest thing is when they pause and they instantly leave before you even start the match.
Yeah, they just see it's you, and you're like,
some people.
I'm not fighting Dr. Mario. I'm out of here.
Yeah, some people I think literally just have problems. I don't know why they play games. Like either you win or you lose, or it'd be like a really tight match, and then they instant spam lol.
Yeah.
The lol spammers are my favorite because I'm just like, what are you doing,
dude,
man?
it's fucking,
like, what am I supposed to get out of this?
Dude, you got to see Noah Lang in the Rocket League chats, man. This bro is fucking toxic. He's talking shit every game.
Toxic gamers, what are you doing? Why do you play games? Why do you play games?
I am a big fan of just muting up everybody. Like, if I'm not sweating, the only time I won't mute up is like if I'm actually trying to rank up in Valorant. Then you need to communicate. Or CS. Every other game, just fucking mute everybody. You don't need to hear them.
I listen to them, but I just don't talk. And so like if somebody is being crazy, I'll just either stop typing or stop. Every once in a while I'll use mic, but honestly, using mic just leads to more problems, I feel like, in general with Valorant, like at least for me with solo queuing, because I'll get like a random fucking dickhead, and if you say one thing wrong or you do one thing wrong, they're instantly like, that's it, I'm fucking done. This is your fault. I'm grabbing the spike and I'm sitting in a corner. And it's just like, if you were to have never talked to them, they would have just been like, okay, no one's talking. I'm just going to play the game.
I would like to think that percentage chance of getting teammates like that goes down the higher you rank up, but I don't think it's that. I don't.
If it doesn't, then I mean, that's.
I think it goes down slightly. I think there are people trying to win.
I play Valorant every now and again, but I now, since like 5 months ago, I exclusively play Spike Rush or the other quick match game because it is just not. You don't get that in that.
Yeah.
You only get it in comp. And I'm not playing comp.
I don't play Valorant usually to like play Valorant. I play Valorant to play with friends and like hang out and laugh and have good moments while you're shooting, or like, you know, talk strategy, while you're going. It's just more fun with friends. So I'll either play in a 5-stack or I won't play it at all. Or I've been playing like duos and trios a little bit just because it's been harder to get a 5-stack going because everyone's busy and older now, and no COVID. So
everyone's busy and old. Sometimes I'd be looking at people who are still living like it's COVID, and I'm just like, how?
That's because they missed the lifestyle, bro.
They missed the lifestyle.
And they've dedicated enough to go to the lifestyle.
It's crazy, y'all. Y'all, hey, much love and respect to you. Keep it up if you want to.
Brother,
it couldn't be me. I'd get depressed. Like
I would
crazy.
Go back to it in a heartbeat.
I would get so goddamn depressed.
I think I'm self-disciplined enough, especially after having a job and knowing that routine. I think I could be self-disciplined enough to get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm going to bed no later than like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm waking up at like 10 a.m., going to the gym, eating right, getting like, showering, getting myself right, and then getting on a schedule of like editing or writing, and then into streaming at night and get on a routine. And I know that routine would easily get disrupted based on how many plans we have a lot of time.
Yeah.
I'm losing my fucking voice.
You are.
I need some water.
Do you want my water?
No, can you just grab that one?
No.
While I fill.
Fill my ass with your dick.
Yeah, you want me to?
No. The channel will start if you do that.
The channel will rebirth if I fuck you in the ass. I think I could get on discipline just because of how much I've been enjoying the gym, going back to the gym lately. Although I am really tired lately, every time I do go to the gym, I feel really good. And I think if I did get like not have to go to a real job and I got myself on that routine, I'd be even more dedicated, because like my life would go from being like 3-faceted with one major facet being my job. If I was making money, making YouTube videos, it'd be
Dos Equis.
2. It'd be gym and content. And then, third, which is currently 4th. I was going to say tertiary, but I don't know what the 4th version of that, quadriary.
Quadriary? I don't know.
Obviously hanging out with people and, all that.
Well, for me, when I first moved here, I think I arrived at that. I moved here post-COVID. COVID ended. Everyone's going back to school. I was like, I don't want to do school. And that's what caused me to move to Austin. Since Austin up until now, well, I guess up until I started the job that I have right now, so like a few months ago, I was full freelance editing. That's all I did. And I'm not necessarily saying, when I was talking about people living in COVID world, I'm not saying that you don't need to make a shit ton of money. That's not what I'm saying. Because I, for the first like 2 years, made like $13,000 a year. But for the first year, full COVID mindset, woke up when I wanted to, went to sleep when I wanted to, have like no fucking routine. And then I really started to enjoy life, and I felt way less depressed when I woke up at the same time. I started going to the gym because back in where we used to live, there's a gym like 5 minutes and it's 24 hours. Gym, yeah. So I would wake up, go to the gym, make breakfast, edit for a few hours. Like I'd still be working. You could be working a regular job. It could be editing. But I do think working at home is a lot nice. Like when you get the ability to have that regiment. Yeah. And I think it's so nice. And outside of that, I got so depressed. And even now, if I were to fall back into that, or like, man, major fucking sadness.
I feel like that's what like people expect college to teach you, like getting on that routine and learning how to operate on your own and work hard. But people can just min-max that shit so easily, and it doesn't actually prepare you for like the real working world. Because like college is light work compared to like a crushing 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like once you go through that 9 to 5 and you realize how important like waking up at the same time is, and just having your routine so that you can find balance, like finding balance while having a 9 to 5 is very hard. Once you figure out how to do it, like if you were to go, like you would just take for granted, you don't take for granted the COVID lifestyle of like not having a job. So like now that I have had a job, if I were to go back to not having a job, or like, my job being this, which is way less time commitment and more passion involved and fun, I think I'd be fine. I think I would get myself on a routine that's healthy and
Yeah.
you know, live a very fulfilling life doing the things I want to do.
That was the thing for me was I realized like, oh, I do have all this fucking free time. I can now put that towards other aspects. And now that I'm back to the full-time job, it's so much more difficult to like maintain going out with people, doing personal stuff, because like obviously when you're working at a job, I think it's very rare that you can find a job that you working the job is progressing you in life.
Yeah.
And so like you need to be doing work outside of your job to progress. And so it's like, it's hard when you're working a full-time job to find time to do that. Which I think like that's what we're trying to do now.
Yeah.
We're trying to progress towards what we want to do.
Jobs are very, no matter what kind of work it is, like if it's light work or if it's hard work, obviously if it's hard work, it's going to be more draining. But even like, even just having that mental of being like no matter what job you have, that mental of shifting into job mode and then shifting out of it just takes you away from creative passions outside of work or like, you know, general stuff that you feel like your life is progressing. But for some people, their job is their progression, because a lot of jobs have like, you work your way up through the positions, you make more money, and then like monetary increase is a lot of people's progression. I don't think I could ever strive to be in a position like that. Like I would hate for my whole life like revolving around working up the ladder. Yeah, that makes me want to die and
work up the ladder sounds awful.
I'm not a kiss ass. I never have been, never will be. So that sort of lifestyle of kissing ass to my boss and eventually like getting promoted makes me want to die, because fuck that. But I gotta understand that's how you fucking do it.
You know what I've been thinking about though, with similar of like going up the corporate ladder? I've been thinking about if I could do it all over again and I couldn't choose this path, I would do politics. I would climb up the corporate ladder, Trojan horse. I'm saying I want to be, I'll spit all the game. I'll do all the dark shady deals, get presidency, mask off during the speech though. And I'm just like, all right, all this shit's fucked. We're going to fix this shit. This guy, I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to be like, we need to start a movement. I'm not going to be able to get this shit done in 4 years. I'm not going to be able to get this shit done in 8 years.
But you guys can.
It'd be hype as fuck, but you can never get to that point unless you fully Trojan
You're
horse.
going to go down in history as an anarchist.
Oh, no, yeah. Like, I'm going to get spit
You're
fired.
crucified by the political engine, but the people are going to love you.
I'm going to get immediately murdered if you do that. But that'd be so hype. Imagine a presidency, like, where the candidate's just like, all right, I'm just kidding. We're actually gonna try to do this shit. Let's do this.
All that shit was just talk to get me elected.
He's gonna be like, all right, now we actually are gonna be cutting military spending. We're gonna be putting this people in. We're gonna. I mean, do this.
Realistically, isn't that just what Trump was doing? Just he's doing stupid shit.
No.
He said he was going to cut federal.
No, his entire basis was saying that he's going to do shit that's not in the norm. I'm saying I don't think you can normally get there. Like, I'm not default a billionaire. I'm imagining I'm default a regular person. So I'm going to have to, like, the only way a regular person, somebody who's actually probably the people, the only way a common man can do that is to sell your soul, get into the fucking deal, go all the way to the top, and that's when you're like, Trojan horse, baby. I'm actually not on your team.
Now we flip the script. We run the shit different.
But that I'd have to rebirth and dedicate my whole life to that. What if when you die, that's what you do? You can redo life, and now you're like, okay, new path.
I mean, I'm sure memories get wiped. Otherwise, we would remember what we did in our last life.
No, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying world 2. Like, it's completely separate from our universe.
Oh, you think different universe rebirth?
Multiverse rebirth.
I don't know. What do you think I would do if I wasn't wasn't interested in content?
Fascism?
No.
Oh, okay. No.
I think I think I just would have become a frat bro and then been like tried to go into TV broadcasting or something as a camera guy or something.
I think it'd be really fun to do like acting type stuff, but I still think I can. Honestly, I'm just I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some auditions. I'll do some shit. I need to figure out my other skills first. I think it's better for me to develop the skills that I already have that I'm good at. And then I can use those to leverage positions when it comes to other acting stuff. Because I can be like, because they need actors who can actually sing. They need actors who can actually, do stuff on camera. And so if I could be like, I can do these
Dude, you know what?
things.
I could be the fucking, you know those camera guys that are on roller skates?
Yeah.
I could do that.
You can do
I've been
that.
playing hockey since I was a kid. I could be the camera guy that's whipping around on roller skates.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, I could be that guy.
They need to hire special people. They're like, okay, we need to contract somebody because no one on our team can do this. You'd be like,
Get me in
I
there.
can do that.
I'm here.
I can do that.
Special
Camera guy.
ability.
Whoa,
I can
watch
do
that.
Is left hand. It's fine.
Oh, is that a...
I was just raising my hand like in class. Hello,
I don't know which
question.
hand it is. I'm going to be honest. I
wasn't pulling an
guess
Elon.
it's the right hand. That's the heart
There was no
going out.
Elon going on right there.
My heart
My
goes
heart
out to you guys. My heart goes out to you.
But he did some crazy shit.
Did some crazy
So,
shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would go into TV or something. Because realistically,
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching YouTube since I was like 10, 8 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
So I probably still would have tried. I mean, I didn't even choose the college I went to. My mom did, right?
Yep.
Um,
Interesting.
I knew I wanted to be a film major.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to be a content creator, but I didn't have the confidence to do it yet. So I was just like in a film program in my first
And
college.
you're just like, guess I'll continue.
And if things went differently, I probably would have just stayed there and joined the frat that all my friends were in or joining. Like all my freshman friends were joining it, and all the juniors, seniors I met, because I played club volleyball, all were like, I was like everyone's bid. Like I was the one they wanted to get in.
Yeah.
But then I left, you know.
Went.
But I probably would just become a frat bro and then done like internships in New York City for
Do a
whatever
standard
news teams
job.
or, you know, ABC or some morning show or something.
Yeah.
And then
be a
line
camera
myself up.
operator or what?
Yeah, pretty much. Just line myself up for the production.
I mean, once you get
industry.
those jobs, they last a long time. Like you're pretty good.
If you're good at it.
If you're good at it.
If you don't
I mean,
fuck up and get fired, and then you're like, well, shit.
I feel like it's got to be pretty hard to get fucked up as a camera operator for those things because it's pretty standard now. Like
Yeah.
you do the same shit day in, day out. It's more like, hey, as long as you just fucking show up, you can operate the camera.
But getting into those jobs is the hard
That's
part
the hard
because you
part.
have to like do the internship, work for no
Yeah.
money, long hours, and then sell your soul, kiss ass, which is just not, again, not what I'm about.
I mean, for
Fucking hate that
music,
shit.
there's like the interesting part about music is there's not really like climbing the tiers. It's
Mm.
literally just the only climbing tiers that you can do in music is the social tiers, as in getting to know good people.
Yeah.
Because outside of that, for auditions of most things, they're blind auditions, like
Mm-hmm.
especially for the best jobs. The best jobs, they're blind auditions where you go up on stage, they don't know your name, they don't know anything about you. They say number 35, you go behind a screen so they can't see you
see
at
what you
all.
look like or
and
anything?
then they just hear you play
That's
and they go,
kinda lit.
okay, notes on that guy playing or girl. They don't even let you speak.
So just be good.
You don't speak. They have someone speak for you so they can't hear your voice. So they can't tell if you're a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
Or if you're, I don't know, deep voice or I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything you could extrapolate from a voice, they get rid of that because they have a proctor come
That's
up.
raw skill. They just want the raw sound.
So that's a interesting and nice thing about music. I did like
Mm-hmm.
those for college and stuff. Obviously, you have your face and all that. But there are
Yeah.
occasionally things that you do where it's just fully blind.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've never experienced something like that where you're just like someone's judging you based on some individual thing completely blind.
oh, that's day in day out. That's all I train for that every day for my since middle school.
It's like those YouTube videos where they have like the dating shows where they're blonde, like the girls on one
No, you're
side and
not
the
wrong.
audience can see them, and then it's just the guys' voices and answers to the questions.
Except imagine if they had a guy be like, "So number 5, what do you think?" And then some guy would be next to you and you go, "He thinks this."
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. What the hell? Yeah,
Um,
you could have been the musicler, bruh.
I mean, I still realistically I have all the skill. It's just not
Yeah.
a job that I'm
Interested in.
currently interested in.
Yeah, but
doing.
alternate universe, you're fucking
in the music, yeah, in a
playing
different
in
world.
goddamn Carnegie Hall as a French horn.
I already did.
Well, not as a
Nerd.
middle schooler, as a professional
Oh,
in
okay,
a
well.
full ass orchestra or whatever the hell.
Well, maybe when I turn like 40 or 50, I'll do it.
Yeah, that's true. You could have an old wise music career.
It's
in
not
your
even
future.
old wise. That's just standard because those positions are for life for the high end stuff, which is also we were kind of talking about getting those nice positions. That's why I brought up the music thing because like
Yeah.
the other nice part about it is some people, oh, it's crazy because of that. The blind audition every once in a while you'll get like this hot you get this like kid who's just out of college, has been prepping, and then they get into these like really high end positions and everyone's like, oh fuck, you're a dumbass.
Yeah.
Like you know how to play a solo good, you know how to audition well, you do not know how to perform every day consistently for this bit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
they
'Cause
kind of
that-
lock
the
themselves
audition-
into intense training.
The
that they're not
audition
prepared
only
for.
shows you for that one thing. It
Yeah.
only shows you, okay, well, you can play this exact repertoire good for 30, like for a 30-minute stretch, for like an hour-long stretch. But can you play
an
all
entire
this random
symphony?
shit? Yeah. Can you learn this new thing in this amount of time? Do you have the professionalism? Do you have this? Do you have that? And so, like, all the other parts of school are supposed to teach you for that. But sometimes to get results, people just focus on the audition. But again, it is for life. So unless
they don't get fucking
unless
fired?
they literally get like the entire symphonies, like get
That
this
kid's
fuckhead out of
ass, get
here,
him out, yeah.
or you're just like, sorry, I'm dipping out.
Interesting.
You get it for life, which is
So prestigious.
it also makes auditioning for anything in a lot of ways like terrifying.
Yeah, stressful.
Because you are one guy who usually what happens is some guy fucking dies. That's what happens. And it's like, for example, French horns.
Yeah.
You have at max 8. Usually you have like 4 or 5.
So it's a limited
4 or
position.
5 guys for life. Imagine it's like, what do you call it? In the government, the guys at the big tippity top who decide.
Cabinet?
No.
Supreme Court.
Supreme Court.
Yeah.
It's like when the Supreme Court justice dies. I know the president like puts one
Yeah, their
forward,
positions
but there's
are for
like
life, yeah.
there's like a shit ton of fucking people who want to do that. For the French horn, if one guy dies in these big bands, you're going to have like literally 600, 700 French horns all at the peak of their fucking game,
Yeah.
all being like, I'm doing this shit.
Jesus Christ.
I know for schools it was the same way, because schools, I'm like doing all like the national band and stuff. You're gonna have like the best kids in the country when you're auditioning, all doing this shit. And you just have to like not think about it.
Yeah.
You just have to be like, I'm just gonna fucking play my best, and then eventually they go,
It's mental.
that was good.
It's all in the mental.
That was good shit.
I don't know. I feel like I was like, you know how like when you audition for something, there's like nerves that come on.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I just don't remember well enough. But okay, I'm gonna use this analogy. So there's this one soccer player who's like, everyone thinks he's a fucking dumbass because
Of course.
he does interviews and he's like, what? You know, he's just like a stupid,
Oh, yeah.
empty-minded
He's
British
airy.
guy, but he's fucking filthy at soccer, right? And everyone's like, this guy's an idiot, but they think he's too dumb to feel pressure or nerves when he's
Oh,
on the
yeah.
pitch, and that's why he performs really well.
Nerves are massive for performance.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that was me in high school. Like I was just like too. I don't think I understood what anxiety was till I was like 19. Like when
Yeah.
I came, till I was like away at college or something, and you know I had my whole ex-girlfriend situation.
Sure.
I feel like that taught me what anxiety was, and from now on I have like nerves and
You're like,
everything I
oh,
do.
maybe I should worry about these things.
Yeah.
Even though before,
But,
like
like,
not worrying about that gave you puff.
I went through like maybe 3 or 4 rounds of varsity tryouts for sports and stuff. No nerves at all.
wanna hear
all
something
the
crazy?
tests, SATs, finals, like whatever.
Want to hear a crazy thing?
What?
In the music world, I've never done it. I don't think it's. I actually don't think it's like a bad thing. Like abusing it's bad either. But I just never thought I needed it. It's very common for people to take a thing called a beta blocker.
Oh yeah. Drugs.
for auditions. Like the teachers would recommend it. They'd be like, "You're gonna play, and if you get really fucking nervous, take a beta blocker."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm good," but like I think that's crazy that because it really nerves affect your shit
mean, shit,
badly.
PEDs, bro.
They can affect your shit super badly.
There's no performance enhancing drug tests on a fucking in the music world, bro.
Oh, I mean, especially for music, because it's like you need to be playing for an hour.
Lock the fuck in.
You cannot make a mistake.
You cannot not lock the fuck in.
If you make a mistake, you're done.
Yeah.
You're out. Like because the whole job is you need to play for an hour and not make a mistake. That's why they want you. But honestly, I think pretty early on, any worries that I had about auditioning for college, I already knew I was in like really good programs and stuff. So going into that, I'm like, I've seen what people who audition for college look like. Like the average guy.
Yeah.
The average guy's like, I played it in band. I played it in marching band and stuff. I like it. And those guys get into music college. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm good because they haven't played in the national bands. They haven't gotten all these prestigious programs.
Yeah, you were like classically trained.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I know I'm good on that end. I will get into colleges. But then, like, the second audition that I did, they literally were like, we can't do this. You're in. Because, again, I imagine the same audition process. They have 50 people that are all auditioning for this one. The colleges work the same way.
Yeah.
Because you can't have your entire French horn section leave and like every year. So you will have only like 1 or 2 French horn slots open for USC, for UCLA. And so you have all the people auditioning and they can be like, yeah, we can literally only take on 2 people.
I actually almost had to do that. What's the high school one where you have to like go play in front of a... We think we talked about this before. You have to go play in front of like an audience and get some sort of band acknowledgement on your high school diploma or shit.
I don't know, man. I didn't go through that normal high school.
That's fair enough.
Stuff.
I forgot what it's called, but basically there's like, I don't know if I did it or not. I can't remember. I feel like I did. I have the picture of the cafeteria, or maybe that was just me like watching someone else do it, but it's burned into my brain. I was in the jazz band in 10th grade, and I think maybe it was the next year that I had to do it, but I quit band early. But basically, you basically have to go play in front of an audience of like more upper hand music professionals or something, and then they're like, this kid's good enough to receive this award or whatever, and then that goes on your record for high school, for college or whatever. I don't think I ended up doing it.
I did. That's just like,
that was like probably the closest I ever got to doing like some sort of music audition like that. And I was almost there.
Yeah, but I think for me, when they were like, "Oh, come here," like we can't tell you legal, like we're not supposed to, not legally. They can do whatever they want legally.
They were under the table being like,
but they're like,
listen, you're in.
Like you're in.
We need you.
I was like so hyped because
Ego.
it's like they can't do that. They can't do that.
Yeah.
There's still like 20 fucking people. I was in the audition room for just that one day, and
They're
I'm like,
look, you're better than the
there's
fucking
still
rest.
15
Like,
people behind me.
Yeah.
To audition.
You just got your ego fed.
And they're just like, yeah, and that happened 4 times. 4 separate schools.
4 different schools were like, okay, so you're like clearly
we
way
can't do
better
this,
than
but
these
like
fuckers.
you're in. And I was just like, yes, I don't care. So I think like one of them, which was originally the school that I was pretty banking on going to, was Cal Arts, because it's just a bunch of different programs as well.
Yeah. You do other stuff than music.
Shout out to the dean. Sorry, dean. Hopefully you've switched by now. Or
retired,
or by the time that this would ever get to a point where it matters. But I was like, hey, Dean, because I was showing him like I do other stuff too besides music, and he's like, oh, you'd be perfect. And I was like, what if I wanted to, take all these classes but not do the homework and just kind of like show up and just follow along and not pay for any of it? And he was like, teachers there don't really mind. Yeah, do whatever.
That's lit.
So he's just, I mean, what is it called? There's a word for it for when you're like checking out a class, but you're not a part of it. Like it's like auditing.
I don't know, something like that.
It's something like that. And here's this. It's an audit. And he's essentially telling me like, wink, wink. You can audit all
Every
the classes
class
that you want.
semester,
Every class that you want.
Have you heard the story of Michael Reeves and how he learned coding?
No.
He went to some college in Hawaii where he grew up and would just go sit in the back of the class and just learn. You would wander onto campus.
I need to start,
not as a student and just
here's
go
my
learn.
thing. I literally need to start doing that soon because eventually I'm gonna get older to the point where they're just like, why the fuck are you on campus? But I think that's based as fuck. Do that shit.
It has to be probably a bigger school. Yeah, it's a large
or a
class
bigger
size.
Class, yeah, and you just sit in the back and you just like, because I think,
and you have to also have the wherewithal to like figure out where the class is being held at what time.
If
or like,
schools,
if you have someone on the inside,
yeah.
like someone who's in the college, and that's easy.
Oh, it's super easy if you have that. But if schools are gonna do the bullshit where you have to take all these extra courses and do all this extra work,
gen eds
because you're not paying for the knowledge, you're paying for the paper. Then fuck it. Let me sit in the back of the class. I'm not causing any friction. And give me that fucking knowledge for free, baby. I'm not trying to pay $1 billion goddamn dollars and take out a loan just so that way I can watch someone speak where he's already speaking. Give me that free.
Fucking pre-calc again. When I already took that in high school. That was a class I had to take in college.
Yeah,
I already took it in high school. But the fucking my first college was a Catholic college, basically.
Oh, yeah.
So one of my gen ed classes was a like religious texts class, which was weird because we also we read Dante's Inferno.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't really a religious text.
Not exactly, yeah.
It's kind of like hell.
Yeah.
Like a folk
It's got,
tale
I mean,
about
it's
hell or whatever.
It's written by
it's
religious connotations and symbolism.
I don't really remember what the class was called. It wasn't called religion or anything. I can't remember. But it was like a gen ed class for this Catholic college that I just had to go and read about Dante's Inferno and stuff, which was kind of hype because the story's like not bad, but like my teacher was clearly this like wigged out Catholic woman, and it was very uncomfortable, and I had to bring the Bible to class, and I was like, I guess I own a Bible now. But it was like one of those reformed like student Bibles where it's like condensed into lower chapters or something. It wasn't like the full ass like iconic Bible that every church has. It was just weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for music, I still think it's dumb. Unless you go to a conservatory, and even some conservatories. But if you go to a conservatory, those are the places where you can do no gen ed. It's just music classes. Those, though, cost a fucking shit ton. Even when I got like merit scholarships where it's like half off or like they're paying for 3/4, I'm like, okay, I'm paying for my college by myself. So I have the option between like $30,000 or $2,000. I'm gonna take the $2,000 option. That for every year. So it's like at the end of it, I still had a decent amount of money. Like that would have been like crazy goddamn debt, which is very common for the music scene. There's a lot of teachers that you'll meet and you'll be talking to, and they'll be like, oh yeah, like your professor will be like fucking like 35, 40, and they'd be like, hey, I just paid off my student loans. And I'm like, what? You're the one teaching me to get into this mess. What do you mean you just finished paying it off?
I mean, unless something miraculous happens, I'll be paying my student loans till like I'm 35.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I know for music, that's why literally at every step of the way, every professor, if they're worth their salt, will say, if you don't want to do this just for the joy of doing music, don't fucking do this. Because
you're gonna be
get out of here. Like you should not be.
But did you have like a free ride?
No, I just got a really good ride. Okay. That's why I said like it was like $2,000 a year.
Oh, not bad.
Versus like the other options that I wanted to, like CalArts was still really expensive. I think they gave me like half and then some in merit scholarship, but instead of like $60,000 a year, it's only $30,000 a year. And I'm like, God damn!
That's what my fucking colleges were like.
And I was like, what the fuck do you mean $30,000 a year?
Let me pose a thought to you. You were said earlier that for music performances, you have to lock in for a whole hour without making a mistake.
Yeah.
Do you think speedrunners, if they had a different path in life and did music, would be extremely good at being musicians? Like, you think Simply would just be like a fucking goat on the flute or some shit?
Simply is a musician.
Oh, true. But what instruments does he play? I mean, he's more of a... He's doing like band. Rapper and making beats.
Yeah, but I think
shit.
he did band. I can feel it in his. I can feel it.
Looks like a band kid.
He looks like. Sorry, not in a derogatory. I was a band kid.
So was I for a little bit.
You just saying he looks like a band kid. I agree.
It just sounds bad. It sounds derogatory.
Bad. It always sounds bad. No one wants to be a band
fucking
kid.
Band nerd.
Dude, that still applied even at like the art school that I went to, where there was like a bunch of different groups of people. There's like, obviously, because it's not just music.
You'd have one of the fucking music majors.
And then they'd be like literally the fucking band nerds, and I'd just be like, the clique was what you imagined. The actors.
Oh yeah, dude. The actors in my college were like, they were nice, to me at least. Like it was fine, but they were definitely had a certain prissy vibe to them. You know what I mean?
It can't be helped. You kind of need to have some of that in order to. It's
the ego that comes with it.
It's not.
You have to have confidence.
A lot of time ego, but I think it's like the ability to just be like, you don't need outside approval to do the roles. At least if you're good at acting, I don't think that the audience's
generally all actors have that, but
some don't.
Yeah.
But that's also where you get into like certain, probably you're better for certain niches and stuff like that. But I think an everyman's actor should respect the art of acting.
You need to be like Ryan Gosling, where you're very much, you're in your role, you got your wife, you hate the industry, but you love what you do, pretty much.
You gotta be like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
you're breathtaking.
Wholesome guy. Dude, that was fucking crazy. He gets involved in video games, huh?
He does, dude.
He's in Fortnite, he's in Cyberpunk.
Shadow the Hedgehog. Wait, no.
Yeah, he voices Shadow.
Right?
Yeah, he is. Fucking crazy.
Dude, that's I love that, dude.
Good for Keanu.
He deserves all that.
He's a sweet boy. That Keanu Reeves.
But yeah, I fucking, the thing that sucked about doing music in the regular school is I had the exact same amount of classes that I would normally have at a conservatory, and then they're just like, oh yeah, also get your GEDs done.
Yeah.
Like your GEs or whatever. And that I didn't realize like my first year, but then I started talking to people outside of it. I'm like, how many courses are you taking? 4. 5. I'm taking 8, 9 every
Why?
year until you graduate. That's how you need. You take all
As
your
a
GEs.
music industry?
Yeah, you need all your GEs, and then there's 4 or 5 different music classes that you need to take every year.
Man,
You need to have your private lessons, your music theory. You need to have orchestra.
Yeah.
And then you need to have like band or something else. And so it's like, oh yeah, you have like ensembles, and then you usually can get like a 5th one. And then obviously I want to do the music, so I did like as much of it as I could. And man, I fucking did not give a shit about my general education. I let that shit slip and slide.
Dude, I had an English class that I went to.
Yeah.
It was a 3-time-a-week class. I went to only the Monday class for the entire second semester.
If I ever go back to school, I'm going to have to just be in like rich bitch situation because god damn it, my GED, my general education scores are in the fucking shitter. And if I need to be like literally Frankenstein or something. Not Frankenstein.
What are you talking about?
Ooh, Einstein.
Yeah.
I need to be like an Einstein, so that way I could just be like,
crazy mix-up.
hey, you, school, pay me to go to your school or let me go to your school for free to study this. And because if you're really good at something, schools will actually do that because they want the prestige
of having this
you.
potentially famous person that have gone to our college. Yeah.
And so that'll probably be the only circumstance where I ever go back to college formally. But if I don't do it formally, I'll just do the thing where I sit in the back of the class and not pay for anything and just take notes and then be like, all right, peace. And they're like, oh, are you a student here? And I'm like, bye.
I'm pretty sure
It's gone.
normal college structure is like you get your GEDs done in your first, I
Year
think,
or
2 years
it's
or
2
3
years.
years.
That you're supposed to do if you do full time. But
Like
not
freshman
everyone
year,
does.
you'll do like 2 or 3 GEDs a semester, and then like 2 or 3. Like say I'm a film major, I did 2 or 3 intro to film whatever classes, like all the general film stuff. And then year 2 will be like actual hands-on film classes, like intro ones, and then your rest of your GADs. And then year 3 is like all
Your
film
film
classes, your full film. And then year 4 is like full scale writing, pre-production classes.
At that point, you should not have anything else left for your G. Most students knock out all their shit.
My senior year was like advanced script writing, advanced production, advanced whatever the fuck. Or actually, I had 2 like elective classes that were like, we just watch. One of them, you just watch movies and write about them.
Yeah.
And study like the director's work and stuff like that. Basically, you try to like watch. We basically focused on a director for like 2 weeks and watched like maybe 4 to 5 movies.
I should send you some of my scripts so you can read my scripts because I took a script writing class.
My scripts are fucking wild. And
mine are also pretty weird.
Yeah.
Pretty weird.
I think for my senior project, because it was COVID, I think you talked about this before, like it got nerfed hard, so I didn't have to like hire a crew and do this whole big thing. The script that I wrote, thank God, because the script that I wrote for that project was convoluted as hell. Not only to shoot, but to fucking, the universe I was creating was like crazy. Basically, my story was I had like this guy, it was one of those, okay, so in the world, the guy is he's in a house. It's the film starts off. The short film starts off. Guy's in a house with his family. Happy days. They're eating dinner, whatever. Yep. He puts his kids to bed. His wife goes, "I'm gonna go to sleep" or whatever. And he goes, "Okay, honey, I'll be up in a minute." And all of a sudden, gun posted to the back of his head, and before he can even like react, boom, shot, lights out.
Dead.
But the guy wakes up, and he's a young kid instead of an old man.
What?
And
Rebirth.
No, basically he was in a simulation. And there's this company that basically tries to reform criminals by putting them basically through an entire
like good life.
Life? Yeah, basically they fabricate an entire like happy life in, let's say, like, I don't know how long it was. Maybe I don't know how long I wrote. Maybe it's like an hour's time.
Yeah.
But this guy wakes him up early, and he's like, "We gotta get the fuck out of here." Like some resistance guy woke him up, and like then they escape together, and they get to like the underground bunker base, and they like plan to overthrow the whole like system and government because it's like fucked up that the simulation therapy's a thing, because it's like there was some immoral thing happening that the government was doing. Whatever. That's the script. And then like it cliffhangers on to like, all right, let's fucking take down the government. And that's the end of the script. That was the premise. But the way I blocked it because you had to do like everything. You had to do like the pre-production, the fucking thing. You had to block out each scene where the camera's gonna go, like make drawings literally for every scene. The way I did it was gonna be so fucking convoluted. It would have been a nightmare.
You need $1 million team to pull that off.
Yeah,
that's a lot of my films that are scripts that I wrote.
Very big grand scope. I still think that's a sick idea. Probably someone's made that before or like wrote it in a book or something. I still think it's a really cool idea. But like, thank God COVID happened, because then I ended up just making like basically a live action YouTube video script where I was talking about how I was going to move to Texas and make it here, which happened. Which is hype. I did what I said I was going to do in my senior project.
Not everyone, most people can't do that.
No, most people can't commit, but someone like me gets it done.
Damn right. I mean, the only logistical script that I wrote that could actually be probably done was like a horror script, but that's like notorious just for horror in general. It tends to be the easiest, like cheapest to shoot.
A lot of college films try to do some horror thriller type thing, and it's always
tends to be like you're at a home or something, because it's the
setting,
uncanniness that comes in. You need to have the reality, and so it usually tends to keep you away from being like tracking shot. It's at his feet. It pans up. There's flying fucking islands. He goes down this ravine. He gets a golden fucking. This is one of the things I wrote.
Yeah.
He's got a golden fucking lobster. Bullshit. Another one that I wrote was like really intricately detailed with like descriptions of everything that the camera's doing and being on screen for the title sequence, along with the soundtrack to every individual shot. And then it's just like this guy is just in fucking. I was Russia pilled. I still have a playlist. It was full on Russia. I didn't even get that far, so like I didn't fully have the plot developed, but it was hype.
I think
Let's make a movie.
I wrote a full on spy movie in my first like writing class that I took, like one of the more intro ones, kind of like in junior year, I think it was, like the intermediate ones, not the advanced one for the senior project. But I wrote this whole ass spy movie where like this
200 pages
kid like infiltrates a fucking skyscraper, and like, you know, his fucking family's going and visiting the company for like some sort of mixer or whatever, and the plan was to like infect I don't know, some bullshit like that. I don't remember what it was. I think my old laptop, like my Surface Book Pro that I dug up this Christmas to repair my Xbox One, because I didn't have a computer at home, and I needed a Windows one. So I dug up my Surface Book Pro, which doesn't hold a charge. It was literally on zero battery the whole time that was happening. But I was like, have to go and delete files and resume the download for the stick to download recovery shit onto the stick to fix my Xbox One, because I had some black screen thing that needed to be manually updated by the thumbstick. Whatever. That Surface Book Pro probably has the documents with the scripts, or maybe it's in Google Drive somewhere.
Mine are on Google Drive, but I also don't know if I have all of them still. I think they might be lost. I think I have like one or two that I'm able to find.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm surprised that it got there, because it's on Google Drive. It shouldn't have gone anywhere. I don't think I deleted them. They're just, I don't know.
I think at some point I cleared space on my Google Drive, because you only get 15 gigs for free. At some point I was probably dealing with footage and cleared a lot of college stuff, like, which is usually not a lot, because it's just going to be documents and stuff. So I probably, maybe I left the documents and deleted like old footage I had. Because at one point I did this whole student film class over the winter to get extra credits or whatever, like college credits. And we shot a whole film, and I edited it for an independent study, which gives me more like college credit. I got the hiccups.
He's fucking dying, dude.
Yeah, I'm fucking dying over here. I'm actually just recovering from being sick.
If I get sick, I'll kill you.
I was more sick a week ago than I am today.
Don't start. Don't start. When you get angry, you spread illness.
But basically, I edited this whole student film for the class over like the spring semester.
Yeah.
I would have to go and meet my teacher in like a one-on-one. It wasn't a one-on-one. I had another girl with me who was gonna color correct it. We would go in and talk over the edit, and I would show them, and then they would give me notes, and then I would have to re-edit it. And she's a great professor, great lady, asked me to re-edit it about 50 million times. It was a pain in the fucking ass. And same sort of thing where it's like, we make a change, and then she's like, no, I don't like it. And then we go back, and then I change the music, and she's like, no, I don't like it. And then we go back. And it's like she was just like, oh, well, let's get a different song here. Change the song. No, I don't like that. I like the old one better. Go back to the old one. So it was a pain in the fucking ass to edit.
That's what it's like to work in Hollywood, baby.
Yeah. But now the video, I think, is on like a locked Vimeo account.
Oh,
so I can't even see the finished version unless I have the file somewhere. I don't even think it's possible. Or I can maybe I can go back to some old website for like the film festival and find the link somewhere.
But the only class that I took for the script writing stuff, just at the end of every script, like the set, because we'd have like probably like a week or two where it'd be like, okay, now we're working on this concept, we're working on that concept.
Yeah.
At the end of each one of those, we do a one-on-one with the teacher, and it'd essentially be like pitching a show or like pitching the movie. So they'd be like, all right, like, who are you? What are you doing? Like, what's this? Explain this. Like, give me the short part. Give me like a run through of it. Yeah.
Although in my classes, like my advanced production class, when people were like pitching their senior project ideas, my teacher, like my film program wasn't very big in the college I ended up transferring to. Like after I went, because I was at two colleges. My secondary college, I was at a commuter school. It was a very much smaller college, but the film program wasn't as strong. Like the people in it were just like, there were a couple people who like kind of knew what they were doing. Yeah. But there were a lot of people who was just like, okay, like my teacher was like very heavily reliant on going to me for things in the class.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying they relied on me for stuff for music, but definitely like obviously going to a community college that was a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
going to Cal State versus like Cal Arts, very different of things. A lot of the people there were also just like, oh, I just like playing the instrument. And it's just like,
exactly.
Okay, well, our band.
It was basically that. Like,
we're limited now.
Like a lot of the kids were like, oh, I just like pointing a camera, so I'm going to be a film major. And then they just like knew nothing or just weren't good at it. But like my teacher was the same one that I did the winter class with, and that I was doing the one-on-ones for the edit. Same semester. She's just like, Dan, what do you think? Dan, what do you think? Because she knows I'll give a good answer. She knows I'm smart and I like know what I'm doing. So for everyone's senior project script, I basically would go through and correct it. I basically was like a fucking writer on there for everyone else's script. Like if we were doing a table reading, I was the one rewriting their script for them, essentially. And I did that for probably 4 or 5 people's things where I was like, this doesn't make sense. You should do this instead. And they were like, oh my God, that makes so much more sense. Thank you so much. And I was just like, what the fuck? How are we getting this wrong, guys? Like, just do what makes sense humanly. Like this doesn't make sense for the plot. It doesn't even set up your fucking climax. Like, what are we doing here? But yeah, I don't know. I kind of had Mickey Mouse Film School. I'll say it, but I got the paper, so I got the job. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, and the paper's bullshit.
Paper's all that matters.
Paper's bullshit. That's all I'm saying.
But thank you for watching the Bozo Show.
Yep.
Cozy Couch Podcast. Go subscribe to Bozo Gaming and Mega Game Rushers, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Outro part. This is where it's silent.
Yeah, my throat hurts, so I'm losing my voice a little bit.
Bitch.